Hello and a very good day everyone. So today we will learn on Power Query how we can actually transform this particular table into this format. If you look carefully in this particular table, we do have multiple columns like A1, A2, A3, B1, B2 and C1. So our intention right now is we want to actually consolidate all the columns, like for example all these 3A columns, A1, A2, A3, consolidate all these and add up all these, same goes to B column and C column. So how we are going to do it, how we want to consolidate, make sure it is segregated to 3 separate categories and also according to the particular date. So first thing is I actually need to highlight this data. Once you highlight the data, you go to the data ribbon, use your mouse, click the data ribbon and click from table/range. Once you click over here, you will notice that a box will appear. So what you're going to do is you just press OK. By pressing OK, it means that we will be navigated to Power Query Editor. So right now the intention is to clean the data so that we have 3 separate columns like A column, B column and C column. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press here right click and I want to unpivot other columns, so that in this case all these columns appear into 2 separate columns, one for the columns and one for the value. So in this particular column, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this column and split the column by delimiter. So I split it because I want to separate the number, and I want to split by space because there is a space between the number and the alphabet. I press OK. So now we have already split it. So I'm going to click this column and I'm going to press delete. So the next step what I want to do is I want to group the data. So what I'll do is I'll click group by, and then once I click group by, I want to click advanced because we also can do 2 grouping. So the first grouping is per date. The second grouping is actually based on the attribute column. So I'm going to press attribute column over here and I want to calculate the sum of the value. So I click sum of the value and I can actually rename this. So you actually can put this as value and then you press OK. So just like that, so now we have this value column. But now what happened is I want to actually pivot the column so that instead of this appearing in a column, I want to appear in 3 separate columns. Column A, column B and column C. So what I do is I click this column over here, I click this column, go to transform and click pivot column. When you press pivot column, you will notice a box will appear and I want to pivot the value column and make sure that it is sum over here and then press OK. So what happened is it will be in 3 separate columns. Then what you can do is you can actually select this column instead of null, because if you notice for column C we don't have the value for 20th May. So what we can do is we can instead put null, we can put it 0. So how to put it 0? You go to replace value and then instead of null, you find here null. Make sure all it is small letters because it is very case sensitive. So small letters null, change it with 0 and then you press OK. And just like that, you will have 0 over here. And then of course the date, I only want the date format only. So I click here date and then there you go. So this is the data. So I'm going to go to home and I want to press close and load too, because when you just press close and load or close and load over here, it will actually automatically load as a table in a new sheet. What I want to do is I want to press close and load too, so that I want to load as a table but on an existing sheet. So existing sheet means over here, and maybe I just put it over here and then press OK. Once I press OK, so now you have noticed that we have actually transformed the data from this format into this particular format using the similar result shown over here. So we have 173A, 173A, 0C on 20th May and so on. So we use Power Query to actually do data crunching and data cleaning, where we transform the data from year to year.